Nope.
Are you with us, Gary?
I can hear you. I cannot see you.
You can't? Uh-oh. Well, I can see you. It looks like we're live here on the Facebook. You having some difficulties over there? You can't find us? Gary? Gary? Let's see. I think we lost Gary, but let's see if we can get him back here. Gary? Gary, you here? Where's Gary? Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. He was here a second ago, and then he ran off. Let's see if we can't get him back here. All right, so I'm going to be chatting here with Gary. Joe got a little hung up, but I got Gary, who, for all intensive purposes, is the Joe Oz of the East, I guess you would say. Trying to get him back involved here. He was here, and then he disappeared. I don't know where the poor little guy went. Let's see. This is the problem with Facebook Live here. Well, here, we'll give you a little snow, just so y'all can, I don't know. You could have been, Antonio, blinded by the hat there. It could be. That's why I got my shades on, so that we can make sure. Let's see. I think we got Gary back here in a second. Let's see here. Gary, you here?
Yeah.
Gary!
What's going on? Sorry, I don't know what happened. I had some technical difficulties. The computer just died on me.
Oh man, it's hard to find good computers these days. So now that we're all here, we got Gary from the Joe Oz group.
What's going
on? Joe had something come up and couldn't make it, but I guess you are Joe as far as the East Coast is concerned these days, no?
Yeah, we run the team here in Asbury Park and the Mega Agent office, and yeah, it's fun over here. We're enjoying ourselves.
So we were gonna, kind of talk a little bit, I guess, about your guys' brand and branding in general, as far as real estate's concerned and things like that. It looks like, speaking of your branding, you got a little friend there behind you. I know as part of what's going on. I see the shades peering out from the background.
Yeah, I had to bring my boy Ozzy along.
Hey, Ozzy!
He's hanging out with me here in the office, and we have fun here with him on a weekly basis.
So how did Ozzy come about?
Honestly, I don't even really know. I think it was just kind of like one of those things where we're all joking around and talking about different things that we can do, and I believe it was actually a conversation between Danielle and I, and next thing you know, we're sketching Ozzy out on a piece of paper, and then Jen was the one who found somebody to actually make the guy, and he came just the day before our open house, or our grand opening, and he literally showed up the day before. So yeah, he's here now, and we're having fun with him, and it's just an extension of our brand here, and here at the Joe Oz Group.
So you have Ozzy out and about now, and I've seen some videos there of him wandering around the town, making friends with the locals and visiting some local establishments there. Which is pretty neat. I mean, just as your guys' brand in general, I see you guys around here and there, and just that overall presence of really being part of your community and branding yourself down there in Asbury Park, and now Joe, I know, doing kind of the same thing out there in California. So how did the brand evolve? How does it help you guys out in real estate? What do you got going on there?
So Joe had his brand created by a local company in the area, and they came up with the logo and the bow tie. And if you guys know Joe, he's always, majority of the time, he has a bow tie on, and that's how the logo is branded. I mean, you can see Ozzy has his bow tie. We also have like our mural of our logo, which is painted on our wall. And the bow tie is really the brand. If you can't notice, it's supposed to be like a person with like the hair flick over on the top. That's what that is. But so they came up with the branding, the colors, the logo, and we just use it on everything. And it's really just about being consistent with all the marketing throughout.
And that's kind of you have the O there, like the O in Oz, but it's almost become even more than that. I know I do a lot of advertising with you guys and whatnot, and I know when some things you can run as you put the Joe Oz Group and you have the O there, but then you can get rid of the name around it and really just have that brand identity right in the middle. That when people see that O and see that bow tie and see the black and pink, they just kind of know what's up.
I really feel like that's the real goal to it, is that becomes really synonymous with real estate locally in Asbury Park, Monmouth County, and also we're working on doing the same thing out in Orange County in LA. And that's really what we're doing right now, is using that and being consistent with it. And I think that the biggest thing that we have here is that you see a lot of people's logos, they have houses in them or keys, and it just is what it is. That's kind of saturated in the market.
Right.
It's a little bit different that I feel like, and people can relate to it a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what's neat. Oh, come on, Christina. I'm sorry, Gary, but I gotta say, Christina's busting my chops. Am I in my grandmother's room? Gary likes to pick on me for not having any decor. I try to spruce the place up a little bit. And this is the kind of treatment I get, But yeah, anyway, like just getting back to that, and I've kind of always felt the same way in that, every time you see an agent kind of branding themselves or doing something, they give you a picture of a house or a key or, like, look, we know you're a real estate agent, right? We know you sell houses. And it's kind of, I think that's with you guys kind of what sets it apart on having that different brand identity, but still being recognized as, local agent, local realtors. I know you guys put that kind of all over everything. You have the space on Bang Street now, so you have that, that roadside presence, as well as you guys do mailers, internet type stuff. I know you guys do, some local events and stuff, and it kind of all revolves around that brand. How, as far as from the real estate side on, selling houses or getting people's houses sold, how do you feel that brand helps you do that?
Well, it's funny. In the beginning, when I started in this business, I've been with Keller Williams for 7-8 years now, and nobody knew who Keller Williams was. And then now people know who that is. And now we're creating a whole nother brand within the Keller Williams umbrella. And locally, we have a pretty good following. In our farms, people definitely know who we are. We don't even really mention Keller Williams so much anymore if we're calling our farm neighborhoods. We just mentioned the Joe Oz Group. A lot of people see our flyers on a monthly basis. They're seeing our Facebook ads layered over top of it. And, they're seeing our listings, just listed, just sold cards. So depending on our markets, a lot of people, our local markets, people know who the Joe Oz Group is, and we're working on expanding that out through Monmouth County right now and Ocean County, and then obviously we're going to expand that out into California like we have already, and just keep moving it forward.
Sweet, and that kind of having that consistent brand identity across all your pieces. I know that you guys do a lot of postcards in the area. You have the brand there, and you talk about layering. How does that work? How do you layer your brand on top of people?
It's hitting them in a bunch of different ways. I know Shane helps us a lot with our marketing, and we do the Facebook ads and that retarget people, and we're just following them around the internet at this point, and they just keep seeing the Joe Oz Group and our logo, and by the time we get them on the phone, they know who we are. They feel like they've seen us, or they don't really know where they've seen our name or where it's coming about, but we're hitting them on all different ways. So direct marketing, direct phone calls, internet.
I think that's kind of the funniest thing about, especially when you get into internet marketing and stuff like that. In that, it's like there's that commercial and the person's like, oh, where'd you hear that? Oh, on the internet. Well, if you heard it on the internet, it must be true, right? And that's kind of the way that, digital branding, because that's what I kind of specialize in and have been doing for a long time. When you have that digital brand presence, you get them on the phone and you say, hey, this is Gary with the Joe Oz Group. All of a sudden there's a level of trust because they've seen the Joe Oz Group, right? So now if you're doing mailers and you're doing just listed, just solds, and you're keeping that brand consistency across the board, and now we're kind of taking that same demographic, that same audience of people that's, getting your mailers and getting your phone calls, and you're layering them with, video advertising and image advertising on, Facebook, Google, and wherever the hell else they go on the internet. And kind of you're building that overall presence, right? That, now when you get people on the phone, they you're no longer the stranger that's calling and trying to list their home. You're really a member of the community. Then they feel that comfort, makes them feel like they know you. Do you see that a lot with what you guys do, and kind of get people that already know who you are and are kind of willing to talk to you just because they've heard of you?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times from all the branding, by the time we walk in the door, people really know whether they're going to list their house with you or not. They just really, at that point, they want to know, can you get my home sold? Can I trust you? And do I like you? And that's really it. I mean, people do business with the people that they like, and as long as they feel like you can do a good job on selling your house, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's kind of a good point, but it puts you, I feel like, above, someone who isn't laying their brand on top of people. You're going up. It's like someone even if you don't know them, going up against someone that you don't know. I feel like, for me personally, I know I live in Oakland, right? I'm outside of your market, so I'll admit that when I bought my house, I didn't use a member of the Joe Oz Group. I'm sorry, but you guys are a little farther south for me. But if I go to Asbury, I know who to call. But it's kind of the same situation up here. I work with an agent up here, and it's funny. My wife tells me all the time, and he's kind of got a similar thing. He's got the bulldog. His name's Chopper Russo, and he's big up in Oakland here. And my wife said when we started moving in, it's like, every day she's like, Chopper's in my mailbox every day. Then every time she signs online, Chopper's there. And it's kind of the same type thing where you just kind of get that idea in your head that if you're in a particular area, you feel like, oh well, especially, I mean, me being in the business, I know agents around, but if I didn't, it's like, who do I know? I know the person who's on top of me the most and makes me feel like I could trust them, And if they give me something that's not, that's a little bit different, right? Like a bulldog or like Ozzy, not just kind of beating down pictures of houses, right? It kind of sets them apart. And I think that's what you guys have done a great job down there of doing that. The same as other agents like Chopper here in other markets doing things like that. It's really neat stuff.
Well, I mean, branding and marketing is really the fun, sexy part of real estate. I mean, that's once you have an established business and you're really doing the things that you need to do in order to get your business going, it's just another layer on top of everything to reinforce your brand and reinforce who you are, what your team's doing. And it's just another way to stay in front of them. And they're constantly seeing your brand and your colors and your logo, and it just, they constantly see you. I mean, I'm pretty sure, I know for a fact that we got business out of just the internet marketing and Facebook marketing that we've done this year, just from past clients that sold and bought homes with us because they're seeing our brand all over the place.
Right, and I think that's kind of where, I mean, especially when you get into the internet and when you stay in business and you kind of build that pool out, it almost just kind of keeps growing exponentially because now all these people become part of what you're doing, and you're just kind of consistently staying in front of them and continuing to snowball. So it's like kind of where you used to have to be more in line with, follow-up calls, stopping by, checking in with, past clients and that sort of thing. You can kind of automate a lot of that and know that if they're part of your audience that you're retargeting to, you're staying in front of them and staying top of mind all the time. So if they have someone that they're looking to refer out to you, or maybe they're looking to do something themselves, they know who to call, right? And I mean, that's kind of at the end of the day, the goal. And I also feel like personally, you know, as a homeowner, I look at, you know, the branding of real estate agents all the time, because I look at it like the same thing in any sort of sales, right? The whole point of, you know, sales is you have to be able to sell yourself before you could sell something else. And I feel like when you have a strong brand and are able to stand behind that brand, you really are selling yourself. And therefore, I feel more comfortable that you'd be able to sell my home.
I mean, at this point in the business, here in our office, we have enough experience where it just comes down to having fun. I mean, we're doing all the things that we need to do, and I mean, we know how to sell a house. We know how to show buyers homes. We've, you know, renovated houses, so the knowledge about housing in general is there. So it's really just about getting the business through the door and marketing ourselves in order to get in front of everybody. And really feel like that's it. I mean, it's an easy sell once they get in front of us, because they realize that we know what we're talking about once we get in front of them.
And I think too, even with you guys, you bring up, you know, having fun there, which I think a lot of people forget about, you know, and it is important. To enjoy yourself and do what you're doing. I know every time that I travel around, I go to a lot of different real estate offices, and, you know, you walk into some and it's just like dead. You're in there and you're like, well, what the hell's going on here? If I'm a consumer and I'm walking in here, you know, I'm not getting the idea of like, this is like a nice group to work with. Whereas with you guys, I walk into your office, there's always, you know, laughing, having a good time, working hard, you know what I mean? Which is the fun part, is that you guys are always working. You know, I go in, you're always on the phones, you know, beating the phones down, trying to, you know, get things in line, you know, setting appointments, that sort of thing. But you guys are always having a good time doing it. And I think that's, you know, as much as of a brand identity as anything else, you know, and even with Ozzy with the shades on and the bow tie, you know, it's kind of just that, you know, kind of more relaxed vibe of knowing that you can get things done, but also can have a good time doing it.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. I mean, we really do like to have fun in the office. I mean, we're on the phones every day, and that's just the part of the business and part of what you have to do in order to brand yourself as well. You know, once you get those people on the phone, we're hitting them with postcards. We're doing whatever we need to do. I mean, it's all systematic and it runs pretty smoothly. And, you know, once we really hook into people, I mean, they're seeing us all over the place. And once you're in our world, you're in our world, and we're hitting them with postcards. They're coming. We do a lot of events that are branded as well. And I mean, we just finished our Breakfast with Santa event. That was a lot of fun. I mean, Ozzy was there. He hung out with Santa, and you know, people are having a good time with us. And we don't take it too seriously, but we take it serious.
So how often, I know you guys just did the Breakfast with Santa. There was like a summer barbecue you guys do, I think, right?
Yeah, so we have quarterly events, and we'll do 4 events this year. We do a couple of homebuyer seminars. We have a company that we go to, and we do a homebuyer seminar for all their employees. And then we'll usually do a local one here in Asbury Park. And this year we'll have our summer barbecue. I believe we're talking about doing a day at the races, and then we'll do our Breakfast with Santa again. And we'll probably do a couple pop-up happy hours or something that's a little more adult-driven to get out those some of the single clients and non-kid events.
I know I had a good time when you guys had your grand opening, and we had a little happy hour afterwards. It's always a good time hanging out with you guys, and I'm sure that, especially with the market you guys are in, down there in Asbury Park, you have a lot of younger professionals or even older people that are moving down by the beach. But I feel like everyone, if they're moving down, especially from up North Jersey where I am, the people that are moving down towards the shore are moving there because they want to relax a little bit, And I think that's where, your guys' brand identity and the things you do and the types of events you have really, make people comfortable and make people kind of want to do that, rather than, everyone always wants to talk about luxury, right? And say like, oh, I'm the luxury brand, and let me show you a picture of a big beautiful house, and like, and that's all fine and good, I mean, there's definitely people that just want to look at pictures of big beautiful houses, but I feel like even a lot of the people that are buying those big beautiful houses, if they're moving down that way, are really doing it to buy a big beautiful house somewhere where they can have some fun.
I mean, for us, we don't really care. We'll sell the small stuff. We'll sell the big stuff. Our average price point right now is about 350,000. We'll finish the year off right around 95 units or so. I mean, so we're having a good year. I mean, I think Jen on our team, I think she sold an $80,000 trailer, and I don't even know what our high point was this year. It was somewhere in the 800s, I think. So I mean, it is what it is. 80,000 to 800. I mean, that's just the sweet spot for us right now, is like right in that $300,000 to $500,000 range. So we sell a lot of them. It just is what it is.
Well, I think anytime too you get into that groove where, I always look at it like everyone that is doing something, so are everyone around them, and everyone kind of hangs out with similar people. So if I'm in that, first time home buyer market, or, first time selling my home, all my friends are kind of in that same boat. And then the kind of word just spreads like wildfire. And especially when you have, the type of brand identity where, that if someone's exposed to you, then the people around them are also going to start seeing you. It really just kind of keeps flooding out that way. And then you kind of just keep going with it.
Well, it's kind of creating a customer experience at the same time. And that's all part of the brand. I mean, since we kind of separated the transaction where not everybody's doing, like, I'm not selling a house and then going out and showing houses. So typically Danielle or Jen or, whoever is going out and looking at or showing the buyers the houses. So if we're selling a house and they're buying a house, they're working with two different agents on the team. And they're also working with Laura, who's handling all the back end stuff and all the attorney correspondence. So it's making sure that everything's done timely. And I mean, that's really part of the brand, is making sure that people are happy at the end of the day, because, happy clients are going to get repeat business.
And that is, I mean, that's the thing I think a lot of people forget as well, is that's super important, in that the reality is that, in the realm of real estate, I feel like everyone's got a real estate license these days, and everyone, you get a lot of people, they watch, these Flip This Houses, America's Next Top Real Estate Entrepreneur. I don't know. There's all these shows out these days, and everyone's an agent, right? And everyone thinks that it's easy and that they're gonna, make a ton of money because they sell, because they saw someone on, TV sell a $20 million condo in New York. But really, when you get into those, those brass tacks, right, of like when you say like having Laura in the office handling all that, and that customer experience matters, and that is what builds your brand out on being able to satisfy customers and have them be smooth transactions and not headaches where nobody knows what the hell's going on. I don't know if you want to touch on your guys' process a little bit on that, on kind of how that all plays out, how those roles are set up, or, kind of, because I know that you guys do have kind of a unique way of making things happen.
I mean, basically we're all in the office making phone calls every day, and they'll, whether it's Danielle or Jen or Joe or myself setting an appointment, usually myself or Danielle are the one who are out going on the appointments. And everything's listing based. That's number one, listings, leads, and leverage. And so once we get the listing, or once they sign up, we don't go and list the house the very next day. It's usually a week out. We want to make sure that we have all of our processes in order. Photos are able to be ordered. We can get all of our media and our marketing together in order so that when that house hits the market day one, we've already been able to market it online. We've been able to show it to different clients. We've been able to send it out to different realtors in that market that we know have buyers. We're able to do a lot of different things with that media and everything before it comes onto the MLS or in hitting Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.
So the reality, I mean, the cool thing there is that, you know, having an actual plan, you know, I feel like that's what is missing a lot, you know, just in real estate in general, is that, you know, people, you know, they think it's easy, right? So it's like, okay, great, I have a listing, let me take some pictures and throw them on the internet and see how that goes. And the reality is, you know, I know you've been in the business for a while. It's not that easy. It's really having that plan and, you know, having all that marketing. You know, when you get into branding as well, it's each individual house is its own brand, right? So when you have when you're listing a home, it's making sure that all your photos are in line. Your virtual tours or aerial tours, if you're doing those, and then, you know, putting it in front of the right people, because you've been in business and you have those databases and collections of people that you know, are what they're looking for and where they're looking. James makes a good point down here. He says, you know, happy clients are great. Did I freeze up here? Happy clients are great, but making sure they remember you is the key. And I think that kind of goes in. You know, I mean, I feel like those are kind of hand in hand, though. To me, you know, I know me personally, if I go to a even if I'm going to a restaurant, right, and I have a good consumer experience, and I'm happy, I remember that I'm happy, you know. I guess there's also the other side of the coin, that people could remember you if it was miserable, but, you know, I guess you want to be remembered on the happy end instead of that miserable side.
I mean, in terms of that, I mean, I feel like as long as the home sale goes smooth. So I find that when you're selling a home, they're less likely to be happy with the whole process. I mean, that's a little bit more of a stressful process. You know, you're selling your home, you're dealing with a lot of money, and you know, as a selling agent, you're trying to get the most amount of money and sell their house in the least amount of time. Or, I mean, you know, obviously there's some situations where they need more time, but you know, negotiate the best deal for that client. Whereas, like, when somebody's buying a house, it's usually a really emotional process. It's real exciting, and that everybody's having a good time. And you know, a lot of times you're working with a first-time home buyer, and they're really excited, and, you know, that closing day comes, and they're jumping for joy. So, I mean, as long as you get them to the closing table, they're usually, as long as if it wasn't a total train wreck, you're usually pretty happy.
Well, I guess in reality, the person on the buy side is gaining something, and the person on the sell side is essentially losing something. You know, although they're hopefully upgrading to you know, something better and moving on with their lives. The thing is that, you know, a home is a very emotional piece of our lives, right? So if someone's lived in a house for 20 years, there's going to be some sort of attachment that, despite the money and, you know, knowing that they're moving on to something else, I'd imagine that there's always some little piece of them that doesn't want to get out of there.
Yeah, I mean, it's always it definitely is an emotional process when you're selling a house. I mean, you hit it. You're exactly right. People have been there for a lot of time, and that's really what it comes down to. They have an emotional attachment to the house.
So you're kind of like half therapist, Mr. Mawson.
Oh, yeah, to say the least. You know, it is what it is. I really do enjoy working this business, and I like the clients. I would say a majority of them have become really good friends with us, and you know, those people are the ones that come to our client events, and they always show up. When every time we have something that's going on, they're excited for us. You know, the people who are out there sharing your posts and commenting on your Facebook page, I mean, those are your raving fans. They're the clients that you want to stay in front of and market to, and make sure that you're doing a good job and doing right by any referrals that they're giving you as well.
Awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, is there anything else that you want to touch on here? I don't want to take too much of your time. We've been babbling for a while, and I know we'll probably get some comments in the once the video keeps going, we can kind of reply to comments down there and things that I'm sure that, you know, you're usually the one with the snarky remarks. So now when you're on the other side of the camera, you can't be down there, you know, commenting. But, you know, is there anything else that you wanted to touch on as far as branding, or just in general, anything you wanted to tell the world?
I mean, it's really not that difficult. It's just being consistent with everything that you're doing, making sure that, if you have a specific color or logo, that it's on everything, and that's it. I mean, if you're not consistent with what you're doing, you're just kind of throwing your money away.
So you should always put your name on your shirt.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you could put your name on your shirt, or you could,
There you go.
See, it has our logo on the back too. Boom.
Oh yeah.
It's a little bit.
I had one of those. I think I left it. I think I left it down there. I got to come pick one up. Let's see. Oh wait, Antonio says here. Do you find your branding taking you to other parts of New Jersey, and do you service them or send them out as referral?
Most of the time, we'll send that stuff out as referral. We try to stick to our market as much as possible. It really just comes down to time on task. And like if I had to drive out to Trenton, it's an hour there. It's an hour to 2 hours doing whatever I'm doing there, then an hour back. I mean, that's 4 hours out of my day. So it's at that point, it's really hard to quantify going out to doing those activities out there unless there's, a lot of things to do.
That's true. They do say that, Trenton makes and the world takes.
They do have a sign that says that on that bridge.
It's a nice looking bridge, though, right? When you're coming across there, big letters.
We're gonna get that for your the back of your wall there.
Maybe that would be nice along the wall here. I don't know, Gary. I got to do something in here. Everyone's picking on me. You pick on me because you say there's nothing back there. I try to throw up, a nice rocking chair and a wreath to make it look a little more inviting, and I get picked on for that too. So I guess I'm never gonna win here, but.
Well, I mean, you got like the Cuban fedora thing going on with like your grandmom's wreath, and
well, I figured it kind of like keeps people on their toes. They don't know which way we're going here. They don't know what we're doing. Kind of keeps them. Ozzy wears sunglasses. Why can't I?
Ozzy's just chilling, man. He's being cool.
Ozzy's straight chilling. That side smirk gets me a little confused though. He looks like he's up to no good.
He always is up to no good.
So what do we have in store for Ozzy? Do you have any winter plans? Do you have any ski trips planned, or what's he got going on?
There's going to be lots of fun Ozzy stuff coming out soon. We're working on some ideas and different videos and everything. It's just fun. It's easy, and people like it. We walk around town with Ozzy all the time, and so we've been doing a food drive. We're doing that on Friday. We're collecting food for the local church here in Asbury Park, and we created paper bags. We stamped our logo onto it, and then we had a little note on it, and we walked around with Ozzy and walked around to the local businesses and took photos with people and everything. And it was a lot of fun. People really react to him well.
Well, I think it's just that, right? It's like, you're walking down the street and all of a sudden there's an O with legs and sunglasses on and a bow tie, and it's fun, and that's kind of what, kind of catches people's attention. But it also, to get back, what people remember that, because now they might not even necessarily associate one with the other or one with real estate, but now when they see real estate and they see the O, they recognize the O, and there's that level of comfort and joy. I feel like that kind of makes it work.
Well, it was cool because we made it onto the local Asbury Park trolling website, and they took a video of Ozzy walking down the street, and they're like, "What's this?" Well, I know everybody gets nervous when you see yourself hop onto Overheard on Asbury, but it was free branding. Nobody really beat us up on it. There's 9,000 members in the group locally, so I mean, whatever. It was free advertising for us.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I know people do. Every time Ozzy pops up, I know I see people liking and commenting and sharing, even if it's just that's where it comes in. It kind of grows exponentially, that brand. Now you're not paying to put that brand in front of people at those levels. It just becomes like, oh, someone sees it, it's fun, they share it, and then it kind of all pairs back together. I know Ozzy has a lot of different types of dance moves he likes as well. One of his favorite, what's that? The dab? Is that
Mm-hmm.
is that some kind of new dance craze?
I mean, I don't know if it's new. We're just old.
Hmm.
It's new for us.
What other wild dances does Ozzy like?
Oh, I don't know. He does whatever he wants. Maybe we should have him do like, I don't know. What's fun? Let's do the Macarena.
Macarena's an oldie but a goodie.
We're gonna have you do it with him, Shane, when you come to Asbury next time.
I'll do it. I'll dance with Ozzy. Ozzy's a good friend of mine. I always like going down and hanging out with him, relaxing a little bit. Maybe go visit some of the local watering holes. And just kind of relax and enjoy the day in Asbury Park down there.
Oh, anytime, man. You're always welcome.
What? Just real quick, you had mentioned the food drive before we go. If anyone's interested, what's the situation with that?
So we're donating to the Trinity Church here in Asbury Park. They typically feed about 300 to 400 families during the holidays. I believe it was on a weekly basis. And so rice, canned goods, non-perishables. I mean, is really what they're looking for the most part. And we're just doing it. It's kind of fun. We enjoy it. It's giving back to the local community and doing something a little bit different.
Awesome. So real quick, Lindsay asked, what are some very basic branding ideas for someone who is just starting out?
That's a great question. I think I would just keep it very simple. So I know when I started out, my brand was just the Mawson Property Group. No houses, no keys. Like, create a simple logo for yourself and logo, colors. I mean, you want to do some simple branding and keep it simple. Make it do the free activities, Facebook, Instagram. I mean, outside of that, you're really you can spend thousands of dollars on Zillow and direct mail and everything else. That's it.
I think the thing is there too, when you touch on creating that logo and creating that brand, I think that's really the biggest thing when you're really just starting out, is to have a plan and figure out, what do I want my brand to be? How do I want it to make people feel? And then just staying consistent. I feel like a lot of people are consistently rebranding themselves with everything that they do. There's like, they take a picture of a house and they put their name under it, and then they say, oh no, now it's a different picture, like a house logo with like a different name or slightly different, then they call themselves a group, and then they're a team, and then they're this, and then they're that. And I think that, for me, just kind of looking out and seeing what people are doing out there, it's really just sticking to it and being consistent, because I want to make sure, like when we get to, when you look at like the O with the bow tie, right? Yeah, it's, the O starts as the O in Oz and the Joe Oz Real Estate Group, but then it kind of comes down to just that O. But you have to work into that O. But now that brand identity, because it's consistent and been consistently used in everything, it really solidifies itself, I feel like.
I think a good answer to that too is really, you are the brand, Stephanie, and until you get to the point where you're ready to really brand yourself further, just make sure you put your picture on everything. People know who you are and what sets you apart from everybody else. That's really what your brand is.
Keeping people happy.
Yep, exactly.
One home at a time. All right, man. So yeah, anything else? Is there anyone out there in Facebook land? Any other questions? I don't know. They kind of always come in sporadically. Is there anything else going on in the Oz camp that that the world needs to know about?
We're always looking for new team members here in Monmouth County, Asbury Park. Somebody that's hungry, motivated, and ready to rock. We're a small team here, but we're growing. We have some lofty goals that we're gonna fill in this year.
So Claudia's home and the dog's barking, but whatever. What? No, Louis, no help. So you're looking for some good talent down there. You're bringing people on. I know even when I was talking with Joe there a couple of weeks ago, he says you guys are like to go deep rather than wide. You're looking for good help and good people. Just reiterate. I know Joe had kind of touched on it a little bit a couple of weeks ago, but he's I think with a lot of people, you're really heading up the operation over here in Asbury Park. So what are you looking for in Asbury to kind of build out? Who's your ideal recruit?
My ideal recruit, I should have wrote this one down before I actually got this question,
Well, if I had thought about it earlier, I would have, we could have thought about it. We could have wrote some things down and discussed it. But it's always a little more fun if we just kind of do it. Just do it like Nike says, right?
Exactly. Our ideal person is just somebody that's willing to put the time in, that has some thick skin and is willing to work. It's tough to find a good person out there, and there's a lot of talent out there, and if you put somebody into our organization and they plug in and they do everything that we ask them to do, there's a lot of room for success there. And that's pretty much it. We like to have fun. We want to have somebody that's going to fit into our environment and our culture and really exude the Joe Oz Group brand.
And I think that's what's kind of funny. You get a lot in real estate. It's like there's like two sides of the spectrum, right? There's the people that like to have fun and don't really like to work. And then you have these people that really like to, that work really hard, but are just like deranged and kind of working too hard and don't really take that time to breathe and have a good time. And, I think that's why I've always got along with your team, and I enjoy going down there because you guys are all kind of like-minded. You have the right mindset where you're willing to put the hard work in and know that it's not an easy gig, but you can have a good time doing it too. And it's okay to, relax and breathe every now and then, as long as you're getting what needs to get done. And really, it's not work when you enjoy doing it. I think that's really neat.
That's exactly what it is. And I don't know. So last January, we didn't take a day off. We worked hard, and we're able to kind of relax a little bit more now and take a little bit of time to spend with our families. Everybody's pretty happy. We're still in the office working every day, making phone calls. We're ramping up for the new year now, and it's all about 2018. Christmas is less than a week away at this point. New Year's is coming up. People are going to start making decisions. So it's time to rock and roll and take your own fair share.
Does Ozzy have any big New Year's plans? I don't know. He seems like a little party animal. Does he have anything going on, or?
No, I don't think Ozzy's going to go out on New Year's Eve. He might just sit in the window and in the storefront here on New Year's Day and New Year's Eve.
He'll lay low and just watch the passerbys.
Yeah, we should put a camera in Ozzy and street of Asbury through the eyes of Ozzy.
See what Ozzy sees.
That would be kind of fun.
Right on. Well, it's been. I'll let you get back to your work down there. I'm sure you got some things going on. My wife, I'm sure, wants to make me dinner or make her dinner. I don't know what's on the agenda this evening, but time to get rolling out there. If anyone has any questions, comments, whatever, throw them in the comments. Gary will or Joe or myself or whoever will chime in and kind of help anyone out. If anyone wants to talk to Gary or Joe about joining up or anything really, I know you guys are both pretty open to just discussion anyway about pretty much anything people have. So y'all know how to find us, reach out, and it's been great, Gary.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I had fun.
No problem. We'll do it again soon. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
See ya.